Hey there guys, Aleksa the Climate Dietitian again. So what today I'm going to discuss is actually what is the flexible macro approach. And that's the approach that I use with my private nutrition coaching clients. Okay, so because it's something that a lot of people get wrong. IIFYM macros is something that has been taken in a wrong way a lot of the time with people when they start a nutrition plan. And so today I want to discuss exactly what it is that I do as part of this flexible macro approach, and also what kind of things it is not, okay? Because as I said, a lot of people get it wrong. They take it, too literally, or they take it overboard, or they make it an unbalanced nutrition plan. Whatever it may be, they don't do it the right way to make it as conducive to good results as possible, and also they don't make it as healthy and as, they don't factor in the adherence to the diet, so to speak, for the long term. So yeah, let's get into it. So the big issue that people kind of think about if it fits your macros is, I can eat like shit and still get good results. Now, in theory, yes, if you are still kind of factoring, you're in an energy deficit, calories in, calories out, you're maintaining that, you can potentially still lose weight. That's not what we're denying here, but they take it overboard, okay? They make it an unbalanced nutrition approach. They don't just go, okay, let's include some of our favorite foods in moderation and eat mostly healthy whole foods. No, they'll take it overboard and take it literally and go, okay, that means I can eat as many donuts as I want. And this can either be, a pro and con towards the diet. So some people go, yeah, that's great because you can do that. And some people say the diet's bullshit because it's promoting people eating, donuts and, pizzas all day long as long as you can hit your macros. But the thing is, if you actually tried it and you were eating relatively, high energy dense foods with little nutritional value, you'll find it's actually very hard to still maintain a good caloric intake unless you're someone who's on the larger side or quite active or has a very high metabolism. You're going to find it very hard to eat a balanced diet, eat still those kind of foods in large quantities, and still be able to hit that calorie mark that you need to target, whether it's a deficit or surplus depending on your goals. You actually find it's quite hard to do that. And even if you do manage to do it, which some people do manage to do it of course, you'll find you probably don't have the energy, you're lacking, you don't feel as good, your performance in the gym is impaired, and just overall it's not a good situation to be long-term in, basically. So that's something to consider, is that don't want to take it overboard, okay? You want to be flexible, but you want to have some moderation in there as well, and you want to make sure your diet is still pretty balanced. It's just a different approach. It's not an all-you-can-eat buffet style diet. As long as you hit your macros or whatever, it has to be done in the right way. Now, the other big issue with IIFYM macros and with how most people do it is they don't actually, they don't consider the ratios in the right way. They just say, okay, as long as you hit your calories, that's fine. But then they don't consider, how much protein is adequate, based on your activity levels or your sport, how much carbohydrates are you consuming? Are you getting adequate fat? Because some people actually go very, very low fat, thinking that, fat's what's making them gain weight. Let's just cut that as much as possible. Then they don't get that, the adequate amount of fat in their diet to actually help with hormonal balance and different cellular mechanisms in the body, basically. So there is such thing as inadequate fat intake, and some people don't realize that, so they take it overboard. They maybe just eat protein, or they may modify a bit of carbs, but it's not done the right way for a lot of people, which is something that really needs to be fixed. So work with someone that knows what they're doing to get you started, so that you know that you're in the most balanced, the most effective plan possible for you. Now, the third and final big issue I'm going to talk today about the following a macro approach in the wrong way is the lack of planning. Okay, so people go, okay, this is my calorie target, this is what I need to consume for protein, this is what I need to consume for carbohydrates, this is what I need to consume for fat, fiber, whatever. But then they don't plan out, they don't set aside some time the day before or the start of the week to plan out roughly how their diet's going to look like and that. And what happens then is at the end of the day, they're kind of plugging it in, okay, yeah, this is how much protein is, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, they realize, oh, okay, I've only got pretty much zero protein left I can consume, mostly fats are left, maybe a little bit of carbs. It becomes very hard then to kind of keep a good, consistent diet going, because then you're less likely to adhere to it, because, if the diet doesn't feel right, if it's become a chore, if it's become harder than you hoped it to be, then it will become an issue and you won't adhere to it. And if you're not adhering to it, then the diet is shit anyway, so it's not something to follow. So if you do it the right way, you can avoid this and get the results you need and continue doing it. Of course, if the macro style diet plans is something that suits you, because it doesn't suit everyone. Okay, so now what I'm going to touch base on is what is it that I do that makes my approach work for clients and why it's the right way to do macros. So a lot of people, like I said, get the macro game wrong, but the real way to do it is, yes, you've got to be flexible, but it's not just about being flexible and eating whatever you want. It's about being flexible, including foods that you want in your diet, but maintaining overall good balance, good strategy, and making sure you're calibrating the plan and tweaking it as you go based on your body's feedback and based on your goals and the results you're getting and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so it becomes a very specific process that works well because it does allow flexibility. So there's a difference between allowing flexibility and just going for a free-for-all. So like a lot of my clients, they'll be like, okay, I enjoy pizza. And I'll be, okay, great. Is that a must-have for you? And they're like, yes, I do have to have it at least once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever it may be. And then we include that into their plan. We work out their macros and we let them know how it goes on those specific days to work in the pizza. But it's not just like, you like pizza? Eat pizza every day, try and work around your macros there. Because then at the end of the day, it won't be balanced. Like the previous point that I made when I was talking about the issues with what people do when they follow these macro-based nutrition plans. And also it will just make it harder to adhere to long term because then there's no structure overall and it becomes hard to kind of tweak and becomes hard to calibrate and just becomes overall a mess of a nutrition plan that just does not work as best as it could for your fat loss if you were to just start out properly, calibrate properly, and know exactly how to actually tweak your plan based on where you are going, so to speak. So my approach I like to call the flexible macro. That's something that just came up. It just encompasses what I'm actually trying to do with these nutrition plans. And it's basically use macros to guide you in a strategic way based on whatever your goals are, whether it's fat loss, performance, whatever it may be, but while also maintaining that level of flexibility to make sure that it's adhered to make sure it suits your lifestyle and it suits the person's preferences as well, because these are key factors that actually help make sure that a nutrition plan is actually complied to long term, which means you're achieving long term results, which is a key thing you want to be focusing on with fat loss plans, not just trying to get quick weight loss happening just for the sake of it. You've got to have a strategy in place for the long term, and macros and maintaining that flexibility in the right way can really help with that. So by doing this, what you're making sure is that you're getting the right amount of protein. You're getting the, carbohydrates and fats usually comes down to preference, but depending on the person's physical activity, I'll always consider, how much more they need of each and based on their preferences and their history and that kind of stuff. But yeah, you'd still kind of tweak it based on their requirements and make it very individualized and make it very, specific and very strategic in the way you're kind of modifying, in the way you're creating this plan. So that's something that I do with my private nutrition coaching clients to make sure that they get the best outcome from these nutrition plans. That it's not just okay, this is the type of diet you can do this, kind of hit the macros, make sure you just don't go over your calories and you'll be sweet. Because without that kind of guidance, the right guidance, you do end up having that shitty kind of style diet instead of a very good strategic but flexible diet approach that can actually get you results for years to come. I guess at the end of the day, what it really is about is creating a diet or creating a nutrition plan that not only allows you to enjoy life, enjoy food, and be very much more flexible in your approach, but it also allows for that to be done in unison with a strategic plan that actually is specific to the goal that you're trying to achieve. Because at the end of the day, there's going to have to be some compromise. It can't just be a free-for-all like I mentioned. It has to be very, very specific, but also it has to be adaptable. It has to be something that you can adjust and do long-term, and it actually suits what you're trying to achieve and suits your lifestyle. Because that's where the adherence comes in, that's where the flexibility comes in, that's where the long-term results come in, and that's where you'll find the success that you want. So hopefully that's kind of giving you guys a bit of clarification around why macros can be wrong for some people, or especially if they're done the wrong way, and how it can be very effective in another way when you've done it the right way, in the way I would do it, and the way I would approach a nutrition plan of such nature with my private nutrition coaching clients, i.e. the flexible macro as I mentioned. So hopefully it gives you a bit of guidance around what I do with clients. We'll talk about this topic more, in subsequent videos. But if you do have any questions for myself, just leave them in the comments below or send me a message and I'm happy to answer them. But yeah, hopefully today you've gained some value and understand a bit more about what it is I do with the flexible macro approach, why it can be very effective, but also how it can be done in the wrong way and be very ineffective, if you're not watching out what you're actually doing and not actually doing it the right way. At the end of the day, guys, it's all about making sure that you're got that guidance, the right guidance to get you where you need to go. So, reach out if you do need help. It can be myself or another nutrition coach that, that's qualified, someone that can help you get the results you want. So yeah, guys, like at the end of the day, try and reach out to someone if you need the help with it. It's better to do it right in the first place rather than try and fumble through it as you go and then stuff up and then give up. In some cases, people give up because they feel it doesn't work, when sometimes it's just about realizing how to do it right, putting that in action, getting someone to be your co-pilot and guide you through that and help you calibrate your plan along the way. So that's something that I make sure I do with all my clients, and it's something that is really important for long-term success. Thanks guys, until next time, see ya.